Prophecy on Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is rich in prophetic messages. One of the issues that have been extensively discussed is the failure of the fiscal and monetary authorities to harness the problems that have haunted the Zimbabwean economy since 1997. If we continue to put all our trust in man, we shall be frustrated. The problem with most leaders is that they concern themselves with personal enrichment instead of building the economy. How many times have we heard MPs crying for posh cars and allowances, yet no one cares about the paltry salaries for civil servants? The country is rich with mineral resources, which if used properly, will improve the lives of ordinary Zimbabweans. I seriously believe in calling upon our living God during time of a crisis. God is able to change our circumstances and let us experience the power of the heavenly economy. Our task is singular, to unite and pray as a nation and wait upon Him to perform a miracle. Whenever the children of Israel prayed during a crisis, God intervened supernaturally. Who thought our inflation would drop to a one-digit overnight? We believed the prophecy by Dr. Alowo when it came in 2008 at the peak Zimbabwe's economic crisis. I want us to remember that the nation of Zimbabwe is rich in prophetic messages which point to the fact that it is at the heart of God. Christians have a role to pray for all leaders and the economy. The Bible tells us that when there is peace and prosperity in the country, we also live peacefully and will be able to seek the face of God with much joy. I exhort therefore, that, first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks, be made for all men, for kings, and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 1–2. It is God who gives wisdom to the God-fearing leaders to make prudent policies that sustain a nation. We have very powerful biblical examples like His Excellency the Prime Minister of Egypt, Joseph, and Daniel the administrator of Babylon. Joseph was able to protect the whole land from the catastrophe of famine because he was connected to God. He built some silos to store food during the 7 years of abundant harvest so that it could take care of the 7 years of famine. Genesis chapter 41 and 42. Daniel was a God-fearing young man who was given the wisdom by God to understand science and govern the people effectively. Daniel 2:46–48. Devoted service and promotion to high office in both Chaldea and Persia placed Daniel in the unique position to further advance the plan of God for Israel. Daniel's life shows that any believer armed with Bible doctrine in the soul can do the extraordinary in the midst of human disaster. Zimbabwe went through a tough phase in its economic history and it needed people like Daniel to rise to the challenge. Below is a prophecy for the nation of Zimbabwe, and we would like to focus on the part that talks about inflation, welfare and role of leaders in governing a nation.